What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Art of Suffering podcast with Dalton Darnell. Today we have Riley Searle. I don't know this guy from Adam. He reached out after hearing the podcast, and he kind of shared his story with me a little bit, and was willing to come on and visit with you guys and kind of share his life experiences with you, his lessons learned. Riley, let's get to know you a little bit, man. Kind of where are you from? What are you doing? I know you said you were kind of getting into the cowboy thing. So
Yeah.
how's that going?
Oh, pretty good here. I head out to cow camp in mid-May here. May 16th, I'll haul out a string and whatnot and set up and be there till October 16th or so.
Okay,
Should
cool.
should be a good time. Right on the Alberta-Montana border, pretty much, on
Okay.
about 125-mile stretch of grassland.
Mm-hmm.
Me and one other fella take care of, I think, 5 herds of a bunch of yearlings, cow-calf pairs, steers, heifers. Should be a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, where are you originally from?
I was born in BC and then kind of moved around a bunch with the family and ended up in central Alberta for quite a while. And now I'm living in Saskatchewan, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in Canada.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
in
I didn't know
Canada.
that. I don't know why I was thinking North Dakota.
Nope.
I don't know why.
Oh, good. Yep.
Yes.
Canadian.
Okay, so is cowboying a pretty big deal up there?
Depends where you are, but like southern Alberta, I'd say, yeah, you got quite a bit. But right where I am in Saskatchewan, it's pretty heavy. You run a bunch of lease pastures all summer and you got pasture riders. Used to be a government job, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They had what was called the Queen's Cowboys, and it was all, you had your whole like retirement and all that, and it was a pretty good gig till not too long ago. Then it all went private, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a little harder to get into now because if you ain't got all the skills, then it's kind of hard because, well, don't really got the time to teach on the job, right? It's pretty hard to teach while you're trying to get stuff done with 1 or 2 guys.
There's no doubt about that. It takes a special individual to bring people in and teach them on the fly. That OJT,
Exactly.
it's really, really good. It makes a good hand if you're the kind.
Yeah,
But finding the kind nowadays is pretty difficult.
it's tricky.
It can be. It can
Yeah.
be. So, kind of where are you at in your horsemanship, your roping? Have you been riding for a long time and just now getting on
Uh,
the cowboy side of it?
Yeah, more or less. Been riding for a bit here. Started Colts for myself and odds and ends, and did that for the last few years because of medical issues. I couldn't hold the normal job a guy had, so had a
Mm-hmm.
disease called Meniere's disease. Um, when I had my second kid, I got
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed with that, and that causes severe vertigo randomly. Just like you could be walking along and then like 10 out of 10 blackout drunk feeling like world
Really?
spin, and then it'll just start with a little bit of ringing in your ear and you got maybe like a minute and you're like, oh no, this is about to get real bad real fast.
Huh. What's that
And
called again?
Meniere's disease.
Meniere's disease. Now,
Yeah,
how old were you when you were diagnosed with that?
I was 21.
21?
Yeah,
And how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3 kids?
Yeah,
Okay. Man, that's crazy. So just I don't know, is that genetic or is it?
I don't know. My biological dad passed away when I was about 4 at a work
Mhm.
accident. So I'm not too sure. Maybe on his end it could have been.
Yeah.
They don't really know too much about it. Like, guy went to a specialist. They're all like, yeah, you kind of have it, and this is what you can expect, and you'll go deaf, and eventually it'll just kind of quit bugging you. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Oh,
cool. So
fantastic.
let's just pray to go deaf.
What the heck? So
Yep.
now there's no medication or anything for it. You just pretty
Nah,
much.
they can do like they try some physio and some stuff, but it's pretty much all in your inner ear and all that fluid and stuff. And then it's like the way he described it's like it's a creek going through your ear of fluid, and then randomly it's like a tsunami, and then yeah, you just can't control it because your inner ear is telling you everything's going wacky.
Huh.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And I was welding before that, so going through the apprenticeship and all that, trying to make a career, and pretty hard to
Hmm.
weld and work with metal and all that kind of stuff when you can't even see straight. So it
Yeah.
made that pretty hard to do. So kind of got a guy back into the horses really fast because well, you can work with a horse pretty easy, and all of a sudden you get dizzy. Well, you just step back for a minute, right?
Give
Give
him a
yourself a
break.
minute, and they'll have a
Mm,
minute. You'll have a minute. Doesn't hurt the horse to any to have 15 minutes to soak. They're
yeah,
fine. They learn just fine.
it's probably better for him.
Well, it gives them a bit of a slower time. Yeah, lets them process. I find it was a lot calmer. Like I didn't have no issues really starting colts. I didn't have nothing bucking and being wild. It was just give them their time, give me my time, and we got along just fine.
Huh?
Yeah, a little
That's
bit
awesome.
more of a, you know, you get the odd tight moment, but not like you're trying to egg it on, and, poke the bear, be like, oh, I know I can make you buck. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
anyone can make them buck. They
yeah.
don't know
No, for
anything,
sure.
but
No,
yeah,
totally agree with that. Huh? Well, that's really interesting. So your your dad died from a work accident. What did he do for a
he
living?
was he was a log truck driver, and he was just driving a bunch of logs and fell asleep one night, and all the logs came through the back of the truck, and well, that was the end of that. So,
Oh, gosh,
yep.
dang it.
And then had a stepdad who stepped in, and he's a real good guy for the most part. Like I can't complain about him. He taught me more or less all the cowboy side of things, and
Mm-hmm.
he team roped and did things like that. So he got me into the horses at a younger age, and he was a welder too, so that got me on that. But he was a bit of a that old school rancher kind of thing, right? So when I got diagnosed with Meniere's and all that kind of stuff, he's, well, why can't you work? You look fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I can't stand up. I'm not fine. Like,
Yeah.
it
Mm-hmm.
definitely created a pretty hard divide there. But he taught me dang near everything a guy knows about, you know, anything a guy needed to. So when someone kind of took one thing away, another thing kind of provided. And I was pretty lucky to have him for the stepfather I had. You know, you hear some pretty awful stories about some of the step parents and situations that can happen out there. And now I step parent two kids, and it probably made me better for it because now there's no deviation like, oh, this is not mine biologically, or you know what I mean. It's no, these are my
Mm-hmm.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's the way to look at that. That's how my step parents looked at me, and I don't have any step kids, but I have a sister that has some step kids, and they're just as much her kids as my kids are my
mhm.
kids. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing when it comes to divorce, which your parents didn't get divorced, but
Yeah,
you've been
I've
divorced, I assume.
I've been separated. Yeah, I've had kids right out of high school at like 17. I had my first
Mm-hmm.
kid, and then I had my next one at 20, and then she was born at 21 weeks premature. She was like a
Yeah.
pound. Spent 6 weeks or
Good
6 months in
night.
the NICU, and yeah, that was pretty awful because that was right when I got diagnosed with Meniere's. So my work dried up, and she was in an intensive care unit doing, all that kind of stuff. She's
Mm.
great now. So the only thing she has is she has hearing aids, and that's about the only drawback she's had from being born so premature, which is kind of a
That's
miracle.
amazing.
Yeah, just a
That is
miracle to be honest.
100% a miracle.
Because
Yeah,
yeah,
I
she
totally agree.
there was definitely flat lines and blood transfusions, and kids
Gosh,
got
dang it.
scars. And I call her Lizzie Bear because all the intubations and stuff, they damaged her vocal cords a bit. So when she laughs real hard, she kind of crackles up and it sounds like a growl almost. So I just call her Lizzie Bear. And that's my little
That's
girl. She's
awesome.
awesome.
That's awesome. That's
Yep.
the only thing, when it comes to divorce or, even a parent dying, I guess, the only people not at fault are the kids.
Yeah.
And,
They have
and
nothing to do
so,
with it.
yeah, I mean, if you come in as a step parent, um, and who you choose to marry and allow to be a step parent to your children is wildly important, I would say. But
Oh,
they
yes.
it wasn't their fault. You know what I
No.
mean? Like it totally uh
Totally out of their
just
hands.
shrapnel.
Innocent. Yeah.
Hmm. Innocent.
Innocent
That's the word.
bystanders.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And that's where
So it
your
takes a village.
podcast kind of came through, where there's like your feelings don't matter. So I'm like, you know, yeah, sometimes I feel, pretty pissed off about certain things, or I'm like, oh, just couldn't you do that one thing, or and then
Hmm.
it's like, I wouldn't have done it at that age either.
Yeah.
Like if I actually thought about it, it's like, nope, I was pretty much right there, you know, kind of mad at the world from how my life transpired at a young age, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
fell down the wrong kind of walked down the wrong kind of life, and led me to learning things at a later time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of that
Yeah,
suffering
dude.
to
We've
learn.
been sitting here for 10 minutes, and off the rip here, we've got dad died at 4. We've got lost our job, diagnosed with a disease that you can't do anything about. We got divorce. You've walked a pretty miserable road, my friend.
Yeah. And, you know, the one thing, my mom, she's, you know, got, she was a counselor and all that stuff, and she has a real good job.
Mm-hmm.
And she understood the mental health side of things, and she's always one to ask, you know, how are you doing? How's your brain? Like, are you feeling okay? You're not like suicidal, nothing. I'm like, you know, it ain't an option. That's always what I've
Mm-hmm.
said. It's just not an
Yeah.
option. I know it's not that way for everyone, but for me, I'm like, nope. I know who's looking. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. I've had friends that their dads died, and, you know, took their own lives or things like that, and I'm like, nope. Like, not an option for me. No matter how miserable it gets, I know what they're looking at, and it's me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, that's a fact. That's something I think about often is what would my sons do without me here? And my hope would be that they would have another man step into their life like your
yeah.
stepdad and carry the torch. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Obviously, nobody wants that, but the fact of the matter is like in order for young men to become men, initiation is required.
Yeah.
Like you have to have another man initiate you into manhood, or you end up being a shell of a man, a boy in a man's body,
Yeah.
and
You
your
walk through
brain
life
doesn't.
on eggshells, kind of scared of
Yeah.
being punished by speaking up. I did that for quite a while too. Walked through
Mm-hmm.
quite a few years and was like, you know, I just got told to do things, and I was like, this is how I'm supposed to do it, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of walked by until I was like, maybe I should try to, you know, even think for myself a little bit here at certain points and be like, well, I am a man now. I need to, you know, accept this, and this is my situation I've put myself in, kids and or stepkids or any situation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you put yourself there, no one's got a gun to your head being like, hey, you got to do this. No, you're doing your own thing. Ain't nobody doing it for you. So when you can sit there and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, where am I right now, and who's put me there? When you go yourself,
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty hard pill to swallow. But
No, there's no doubt. Have you ever heard of Jocko Willink?
I haven't. No.
Okay, so Jocko does a podcast, and he was a commander in the Navy SEALs.
Hmm.
Anyway, it's an incredible podcast. Lots of really cool guests on there. He reads a lot of books. It's pretty neat.
Real smart guy.
Yeah, yeah. And his deal is extreme ownership.
Hmm.
Um, and he talks about it all the time. It's like basically any situation you find yourself in, whether you made mistakes or good choices or whatever,
Yeah.
you just own the crap out of it. You
Yep.
just own every ounce of it. And so I find that um, it's very easy for me to do in some regards. It's very difficult for me to do in others, depending on the area of
I
my
think it's
life.
easy to notice, and I think it's really harder to act upon.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to be like, oh man, I'm kind of messing up here and I'm dropping the ball on this issue. And then to be like, okay, well, time to pick up the ball that I just dropped is the hard part, right? Because we can
Mm-hmm.
notice it, but then to actually take that first step is like, holy crap, there's actually an issue and we have to make action or nothing's
Mm-hmm.
going to change. And that's the hard part, I think. Accountability is definitely hard, but then taking the action of self accountability, realizing it's true, and then moving on it is
Mm-hmm.
like you've now rationalized it. It's real. You put yourself there. You got to get yourself out. And
Yeah,
that's,
no doubt. Well, it's interesting. I showed you. You know, you messaged me. What I mean, it might have been 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks
mhm,
ago, and I showed it to my wife, and I was
mhm,
like, "Look at this," and she was like, "Man, if if that's the only reason why you're doing that podcast, it's worth every second of the time you spend doing it." And
mhm,
we just had a conversation about how difficult it is
yeah,
to walk into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and go, "You're the problem,"
yeah,
and fix yourself. And I've
Yes.
been there every day for the last 10 years. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, it's wildly difficult to look
Oh,
at your surroundings and own them.
well, and usually your surroundings relate to what you're doing. So if you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
my house is a disaster, well, you could have done something about it too. You know, it's not just someone else's job. You're there too. You could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, oh, my truck's broke down. Well, if you're mechanically smart, you could have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's many things that it just comes down to laziness and other things, or well, just laziness mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just trickles down into your life in other aspects. Things start breaking down. You got wear and tear on things that you're like, well, now I got all this extra maintenance. Well, if you'd have just taken care of yourself or taken care of it moment, you'd have been fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But your
And your
surroundings become you.
kids, yeah, your kids, they emulate this.
Oh yes.
They turn into little versions of you, you
Oh
know.
yeah. You
Um,
witness it pretty easy.
oh, like
It's
that
like
fast.
you can see them, you do something and the day after they're doing the same thing. It's like, oh man, either that's
Yeah.
awesome or it's like, oh man, I really messed up there.
Yes. Oh crap. Yes,
Yeah,
I've had that.
it's either really
I've had
good
that.
or really bad.
Specifically, so in my normal life, um, I'm not gonna say I'm a sailor or nothing, but I can
Hmm.
be pretty foul mouthed.
Yeah.
Um, and the other night, well, this was probably 6 months ago. My oldest was in the bathtub and he was playing with his toys, and he had one of them uh, say the F word to another one. And I was like, so my wife calls me in there and she's like, uh, tell your daddy what you said, you know? And I was like,
Hmm.
uh-oh.
Yeah.
And it took a minute of coaxing because he knew
He
he
knew he
shouldn't have,
was gonna be in
he
trouble.
was in
Yeah.
trouble. And this kid finally, he's crying and carrying on, and Kara's like, just tell your dad. If you're going to say it,
Hmm.
you say it like a grown man, you know?
Yeah.
And he
Man up,
drops the
say it.
hardest F bomb I've ever heard in my life. He was like, I said, and I was like, wow. Okay.
Hmm.
So I just knelt down right there next to him laughing, you know, and I said, listen, buddy, I was like, you can't say that word, but daddy shouldn't say that word either. So I tell
Yeah.
you what, if you hear me cuss, you tell me not to cuss. And if I hear
Yeah.
you cuss, I'll tell you not to cuss.
Yeah.
And
Let's
so,
hold each other accountable.
yeah. And so from then on out, which I hadn't dropped any F bombs in front of him, but anytime I say something like I'm pissed off or anything
Hmm.
like that, he's like, hey, no cuss words, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Settle
that's not a
down.
cuss word. That's
Yeah.
not a cuss word, you
You'll
know?
learn the English soon.
Yeah, I'm serious. It's been funny, but that's a small example of like
Hmm. They
that's all they're
really,
watching.
they really look at you and they follow it pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow by a good example, they really soak it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's a good deal. Tell me about your kids. So you got three.
I got three. Yep, I got
Okay.
Lane. He's my oldest. I had him right out of high school. I had him. He's been an uncomplicated child for like birth and stuff. He was fine. And then Lizzie was the middle one, Elizabeth, and she was born super premature, as we touched on there, and all that. And then I have one more who's Sadie.
Mm-hmm.
She's the youngest, and she's about 5 now here. So
Now, are all of these step kids or
nope,
some biological?
those are 3 biological kids of mine, and I have 2 step kids.
Okay. Tell me
I
about
have
them.
Tierney, she's 8, 9, about to be 9, and then I have Ryder, he's 15,
Okay.
and it's yeah, it's I don't know, I don't take too much to heart really on none of it. I take them as they're my own, and then give them the same expectations I'd have as mine. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if I want, I kind of had a little more of a harder life, I guess, because we didn't always have lots of money and things, growing up. So I kind of had some chores that were probably a little more adult like at a younger age that I'm like, well, why can't this kid do this? Like, why
Mm-hmm.
can't he? I was doing
Yeah.
this, and I'm like, well, maybe that's just not realistic because I was just forced to do it
Mm-hmm.
because I had no other option to survive. That was, like 8 years old cooking family dinners, and I was the one
Mm-hmm.
cooking the meals. But like everyone else was working, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it taught me the good skills. I knew how to cook meals, I knew how to provide, and I could do basic things. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
seem cruel to me. They cooked with me. They just taught me how.
Yeah.
Right? It helped them, and it gave them their minute to decompress or whatever they needed in that moment. And you're still helping
Mm-hmm.
them out, and they're teaching you some life skills.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of their feelings didn't matter, but also you're going to help me out because my feelings matter a little bit, and I need a moment. So
Yeah.
I need you to
No,
stir
facts.
this spaghetti up real good, and I'm gonna take a breather in the corner. Like,
Yeah. No,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
see anything wrong with that.
So
I mean, did Jocko in his deal, he'll talk about when he's talking about fatherhood or whatever, he says that you treat a kid 2 years older than they are.
yeah.
And I find that it's pretty useful because, I mean, they just grow up and they have an understanding for what's required as far as
Hmm.
responsibilities go. And it's all age appropriate. I don't
Yeah.
think cooking spaghetti's over an 8-year-old. I think an 8 year
No,
old
that's
can cook
pretty
spaghetti.
basic, like boil
Yeah.
water, you got to teach them, some safety if they ain't never boiled a pot of water, it's going to get real hot. It might bubble over and, putting some stuff in might splash back or, some basic kind of little knowledge here and there. But, you go from one where you had it and to another one where it's like, well, why can't I have a kid help with supper?
Hmm.
And all of a sudden you're like, are they supposed to? And then you start having
Yeah.
these internal monologues with yourself where it's like, was this something I just had in my childhood? Or is this something that I should teach them because it's proper? And I'm
Yes.
like, I think it's proper because I just think you need skills to live. If you can learn
Hmm.
them at 12, you're going to be pretty good at feeding yourself. By the time you're 18, you're probably going to enjoy what you're cooking.
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
you have to
No,
feed for
no.
yourself, you're going to at least know how to go to the grocery store, what you need to get instead of snacks and be like, oh, I want those candies and all that. But you're going to be, starving to death in a month, but your grocery budget's gone.
Yeah. Well, shoot, just watch Junior Master Chef or whatever that show is with Gordon
Yeah.
Ramsay, bro. Them 10-year-olds are making like
Oh, they're
freaking beef
wild.
Wellingtons. You know what I'm saying?
I can't
Like,
make that stuff. I'm like, you guys
no,
way above
dude.
my pay grade. Way
Yeah,
above.
facts.
I burn myself
I
cooking
think
daily.
I don't think that's an issue at all. And I kind of operate off of the fact. So my oldest is 6,
Hmm.
and my goal is to try to have a pretty well rounded man by the time he's 16.
Hmm.
Of course, he's not going to be a man,
Yeah.
but I would like for him to understand consequences. I would like for him to understand cause and effect and how his actions affect other people. Because by the time
Hmm.
I give him a set of car keys, um,
You
the
want 'em to know that,
consequences in life are real.
yeah,
That's
you could
scary.
take life, you could do all sorts of things with that. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So that's kind of my goal, and I don't. I think it's a father's role. I think it's your
Hmm.
job to create an environment where your children have to try. They have to put in some effort. You know what I mean?
And I think to one extreme, like my dad was really hard. Like I couldn't make him happy. If no matter what I did, I had a welding rod in my hand by the time I was 5. I was like welding. Like
Mm-hmm.
he had me out there at 5 years old with a hood on, and I was stringing beads. They might not have been the best beads, but I was welding. And instead of being like, "Oh man, that 5 year old can run a welder," he's like, "Do this better,
Mm-hmm.
better, better, better." So I'm like trying to find that happy line of, am I just being a dick right now? And I want
Mm-hmm.
perfection out of you because that's what I was expected of, and I'm just emulating exactly what I saw, and I'm like, nope, perfection or nothing, kid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like that's what the world wants of you.
Yeah, that's
Like
what the
if you're
world's
going
going
to
to
a job
expect.
to be a welder, you need perfect welds or you're not going to get the job. If
Yeah,
you're going to rope and you can't rope, you're not going to get the job.
yeah.
It's You got to be able to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just one extreme of being too hard of a parent is like, I can give you these jobs and these roles and expect you to meet them,
Mm-hmm.
but I got to be realistic about it too, I guess, and not be
Mm-hmm.
like, you did it to your best of your ability, but damn, it sucks. Maybe it
Yeah,
sucks. Maybe it really does. But they did to the best of their ability. And if you didn't help them, you really shouldn't torment them on it because then you're just going to crush whatever kind of accomplishment they did feel because of that whole goal accomplishing, mindset, chemical release.
mm-hmm.
That's If you take that away from them, they're not going to feel accomplished in anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've found I struggle with that. Even like getting the cowboy job I got, I'm like, this is awesome. This is the job I wanted forever. And I'm like, am I good enough?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not proud of myself, and I should be. I should be
Mm-hmm.
like ecstatic. But I'm sitting here having these moments where I feel like, my old man's kind of peeking over my shoulder, being like, yeah, but are you good enough? Can you do
Mm-hmm.
it all? Are you there? And I'm like, well, shit, am I?
Yeah.
So you can really go too far on that, giving them a bit more responsibility than, and then giving them too much and then crushing them on it when your
Hmm.
expectations are not realistic, I guess, too, right?
Are you familiar with Ray Hunt?
Yep.
Okay, so that everything you just said about your kids made me think about Ray Hunt, and the reason why it did is, and I'm pretty sure it was him. Is either him or Buck Brannaman. If Buck Brannaman said it, it probably came from Ray Hunt. But the
Yeah.
fact is they talk about understanding the expectations for your horse
Yeah.
and them being able to do something that's within their physical abilities. So, like if you take a big old draft cross horse
Hmm.
and you get them real nice,
Yeah.
soft, and then you start asking them to spin a hole in the ground,
Yeah.
right? Like a reiner. They're
Yeah.
not going to be able to do it like the guy at the world's greatest horseman.
No,
They're just not going to do
they're
it.
not built that way, and they
They
can't.
can't do it. They can't do it. And so they can spin, sure. Are
Yeah.
they going to spin with their top line flat as a pancake,
Yeah. All the
like
way.
freaking mane in the wind? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no, they're not. But
No.
can they turn around properly? Sure.
Yeah.
So I try to, for myself, when it comes to my son, I try to ask him, I'm like, do you want to be excellent?
Hmm.
Do you want to be good at this? And right now, our thing is baseball.
Yeah.
He's playing baseball for the first time, and I'm coaching the team and all the things. And we got this kid on the team that is fast as lightning, son. I mean,
Hmm.
this kid, for a
Just
6 year
got
old,
wheels.
he can haul. So Wiley wants to be like faster than him.
Yeah. Competitive.
And so teaching him how to practice
Yeah.
and what it takes to actually be excellent at something.
Dedication when you want to or not. I saw a
A
picture.
lot of crying.
I saw a
A lot
picture
of
on
crying.
Facebook actually, and it was like a perfect example of dedication. It was a guy doing chin ups, and it was like when you feel like doing it, and it was a guy doing chin ups, and it's like when you don't feel like doing it, and it was a guy who's still doing chin ups, and it was like this is what
Hmm.
dedication is. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yep, right when you don't feel like doing it, you get up and you do it anyways. That's
Facts. Facts. Yeah, that we were practicing. It was Saturday, maybe. Um, we were taking BP in the yard, and
hmm.
I told him when he was swinging his bat, he was spinning around.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? He was
yeah, over
playing
swinging,
like,
kind of just
yeah,
having
it's
a good
being
time.
goofy.
Yeah,
Yeah, being goofy. And so I told him, I said, "Hey, man, every time you spin around like that, we're going to do 10 push-ups at
yeah,
the end, and I'm
yeah,
going to keep count." And so he did it once, and I was like, "Okay, we got 10 push-ups." And then he did like 10 in a row, good.
yeah,
And then he did it again. I was like, "Okay, we got 20 push-ups," and he started crying.
yeah.
I was like, "Hey, man, we
Do you
already
want to be
discussed it.
excellent?
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you want to be good, you got to every swing counts, you know." And
yeah,
so we finally got to the end of the BP, and there we are in the front yard. He's bawling like a baby doing push-ups, and I do them
yeah,
with him.
yeah.
Um, and
Group
that's
suffering.
what it takes. That's what it takes to be excellent at something. I can remember when I was learning how to rope, man. Like there was no quarter given.
Yeah,
Like a miss is a miss, and if you
yeah,
miss, you suck.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like that's how it was.
That was learning to rope with my dad too. He's like, you better practice on that old sawhorse, there, boy, because you can't rope for nothing.
Yes.
And but man, I was out there forever, and the old stiff heel rope he had, trying to learn to rope with that thing for the first time, I was like, holy crap! I chewed my fingers apart swinging that thing, just blisters, and I just didn't give
Hmm.
up.
Yeah.
Wanted to learn,
Well,
so I
that's
did
half
it.
of it. Not quitting is half of it.
Yeah,
That's a fact. And you got to, and that's what's funny is you don't think about this when you become a father, but you got to teach a kid how to not give up.
yeah, it's tough.
It's a learned skill. It's a learned skill to not be a puke. You know
Well,
what I mean?
exactly, and it's a learned skill to be one. So, like, I definitely took a chance. I was definitely not the best I could have been when I was younger, and I learned from, following bad examples. Fell,
Hmm.
just followed and followed. I was like, hey, this is pretty fun. We could. I didn't drink. I smoked weed and stuff, and I was like, I was like, this is way better than drinking. I'm not hungover the next day. This is way better. Screw it. I'm
Yeah.
already doing something illegal. It doesn't matter. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of mattered. And, at the time it didn't matter because stupid young me was influenced by all the cool kids around me and trying to be cool, but forgot about
Mm-hmm.
all the main stuff. And, you get on that and you're like, you can kind of sit there and you can just watch your life choices in the mirror and be like, this is where I definitely had the habit of giving up. And you're like, well, I could have pushed here and probably been better off. And I just didn't. Like, I just gave up. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, now you have kids or now you're trying to correct yourself, even maybe, as a stepfather later on. And you're like, man, I'm a little later to this boat than everyone else. Everyone else has been here for 10 years and I'm catching up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't exactly feel all that cool and you don't feel all that welcome. Everyone else is like, oh, I bought a house. And I'm like, dude, I'm struggling to get a vehicle some days, like you're kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
you're behind people and you got no one to blame but you. And
Mm-hmm.
because you gave up on certain things. It's like, you could have just kept going on certain things. You could have pushed harder. You could have worked harder. You could have, but you gave up. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
I put in my 8 hours. I'm giving up.
Mm-hmm.
No, you could have put in 14. You could have put in
Mm-hmm.
easy, but you don't.
It's interesting the ability to not. I think a lot of men struggle with this, the ability to forgive themselves,
Yeah.
and that's something I've talked about with quite a few of the guests that I've had on the podcast. Is, you know we as men are in this constant state of to choose God or to not choose God, to choose
Yeah.
God or to not choose God. And you go to church on Sundays or you have a conversation with a buddy and it's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to change my life, right? Well, in that moment, you're choosing God. What you don't realize in that moment is that that's a moment. And
Yeah.
what you have to have for true initiation into manhood, for true change, is a history of moments, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of moments strung together that create habits, that create thought processes, that create anchors into what truth actually is. And so,
It's the
what
war,
this
not
looks
the
like,
battle.
that's exactly. And what you're looking like here is, you have this moment, you choose God, and then you have all these other little moments that you're not choosing God. And then
Exactly.
you realize, oh shit, I
I
need to
messed
choose
up
God
here.
again.
Yeah.
So you choose God again. And what that starts to look like is it starts to build this foundation for a fella to where you
You know where
become
to go.
yeah, you become unconsciously competent at choosing God. It's like a
Yeah.
second nature. It's just like, where does your mind go? And you have to
Yeah.
train all of these things.
Yep.
And I think men have a hard time with this because we'll live in our mistakes.
Oh yeah. We'll just
You'll
sit
look
there
in the
and just think
mirror.
about it forever.
Yeah,
I
you're
do it
looking in the mirror
often.
like I'm a piece of garbage. I'm a piece of
Yeah.
garbage. I can't get my life right when really you're on the path. And
Yep.
what I think gets lost on me a lot of the times is that God is on that path with you.
Yeah.
He's right there. Every single beer you drink or
Yeah.
whatever problem
Yeah.
or sin you're trying to defeat, he's sitting right next to you. Just
Yeah.
not
It's
condemning. He's
just
just
letting you
loving you.
do it. If you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna make mistakes, but I'll chill. I'll be
Hmm.
here. Yep.
And I think that's what we have to do as fathers
Hmm.
is we have to show our sons not only the mistakes.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, that's not how daddy should have handled that, right?
Yeah.
Apologize and then the change.
Yeah. And I know I've had to work with that too, because the old man, he definitely had a quick temper, you know, pretty old
Hmm.
school kind of. You didn't get stuff done fast enough or quick enough or any of it, you know,
Hmm.
any of it really, I guess. Kind of a quicker tempered fella. And well, I kind of adopted that myself. And then I'm sitting there and I'm working with dogs or horses, and I'm like, hey, you got to correct that. And little 8-year-old kid, he's like, what? And I'm like, correct that right now. Like, get on it. You're missing it. And I'm
Hmm.
like sitting here being a dick, and I'm like, oh, that was way over what I needed to do. So then I go and
Hmm.
I gotta go over there and swallow my pride and be like, look, little miss, I'm sorry. I was totally out of line there. That was. I understand you didn't see what I'm seeing, and you're not looking for what I'm looking for. You're just trying to, I'm sorry, and
Mm-hmm.
then try to explain like this is what we're trying to do though. And if you want to do this and you don't want your horse to, crowd the hell out of you or something, you got to correct him when he starts walking in on you. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
catch it. And yeah, sometimes there's abruptness and you got to be able to take that criticism and you got to be able to take it fast and not
Mm-hmm.
pout about it, because that's a whole point of growing up. That was the one good thing about having a kind of angrier role model was you got really good at taking criticism, because I can hear anything from anybody and pretty much roll it off my back and just keep doing my job,
Mm-hmm.
because I've heard worse from better. Let's
Yeah.
move along,
Yeah,
buddy. I have
for
to care
sure.
about your opinion for it to matter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The principle we like to use, or that I like to use with my children, and this comes from a horsemanship principle, but it's as little as possible, as much as necessary.
hmm,
So I have no problem whispering to my son, "Hey, that'll do."
yeah,
And if I get the correct response to that, which is yes, sir, and softness,
yeah. Then
um,
we leave it at that. That's enough. That's a
we're done.
yeah,
But I also have no problem unsheathing this belt like a sword and going to
yeah,
one if need
yep.
be, right?
Oh yeah, you got to match. You can't let them, because otherwise they walk over. And I know that
You got
from
to have the
like
response. You got to
even
have the appropriate response. And the fact is like children need both. They need to
yeah,
understand that what you say is what you mean, and you have to discipline yourself to do that. And I will say, working with livestock and horses is
it makes you
because
really
it's dangerous.
self-accountable.
Yes, it's dangerous. They can hurt themselves badly,
Yeah,
and then they have something else's life in their hands.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that horse wants to stand in the pasture and eat grass.
Yeah, it ain't out there to be caught and sitting
Yeah,
in indoor. Like, it don't care about
no,
that.
it doesn't. He doesn't want to do it as much as people think. He might
Yeah,
want that cookie you got, that
yeah.
treat,
He might think
but
there's
he don't
something
want to
all
work.
right there, but going
Yeah,
out and riding 15 miles ain't his dream job. Nope.
no, no, and they'll be a great willing partner,
Yep.
but they would much rather be eating
Sitting,
grain.
eating grass and hanging out, doing nothing, being a horse.
That's right. They're natural born skeptics and cheats. Like they don't
Yep.
want to work.
Oh,
They
exactly.
don't want to work. Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
funny.
it's pretty much the generation. It's just horses. That's,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. So how old is your biological son? Is he the same age as your stepson?
No, he's a little younger. He's coming on 12 here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, are you still getting to see them quite a
I
bit?
do get to see them. I have to drive and pick them up. It's about 6 or 7 hours, and I'll pick them up on,
Mm-hmm.
school time off breaks and things like that. And they'll come out here and out to the ranch on Saskatchewan, and we'll hang out, ride horses, and quad, shoot guns, do all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And
All the dad stuff. Do they get
yeah,
along with your stepkids pretty good?
oh yeah, they have a great time, and stepkids are real good. They just let them chase them around. They just hang off them pretty much the whole time. They're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's like a dadgum summer camp at your house
Yeah,
when
they're like,
they get all them
geez,
youngins together.
yeah. Well, you got a household of 5 kids going. You got some noise, but
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty handy when you got like 14,000 acres to be like, go play.
Yeah, no, I ain't no
Yeah.
doubt. Now, tell me about your wife now. What's she like?
She's it's kind of a funny story. She's got a hard past too, and I kind of helping her through that as well. So this is a lot of the growth I'm going through as well, is trying to help her. Um, she's going through a pretty rough kind of, it's a long drawn out divorce, I would say, over quite a few years. Um, the guy pretty much like confined her into her own home and locked her in and abused her and beat her up, and was abusive, got thrown in jail for it and things like that. So it went from that to then went to a fella that just pretty much manipulated all of her money and took all that. So then to meet me, who was like, hey, I'm honestly not a bad guy. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I'm a little skeptical. And I'm like, well, that's fair. I get it. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on. I don't, I'm here. Let's see what's up. I don't want your things. I don't care about none of that. Let's talk about you. Let's see what your problems are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's how can I help? What's going on? And one of our first things, I think, it was like our third date. I had to take her for surgery for like cancer removals. And I'm like, like it's wild to think about, but it's like, yeah, no, you trust someone enough, eventually you get in, and they kind of had to give you a whole lot of trust to get a little bit, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. For them, it's a whole lot to a little bit for you, right? You'd be like, dude, you're hardly giving me a sliver of trust, and they're like, I'm giving you way more than I would give anyone else, given my past,
Mm-hmm.
right? People tried to take my life and things, and those were people I was trusted and like married to. So you think, okay, if you got to sit there and you look at yourself to back to your feelings don't matter, right? Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm trying to work with her and this is the person I want as my partner, I have to take her history and be like, this is logically how this is going to work. She's going to have some
Mm-hmm.
skepticism. There's going to be
Yeah.
some drawbacks. There's going to be some holds. There's going to be some
Mm-hmm.
traumas to work through, right? And it's your choice as the man that put yourself in that situation because you're accountable
Mm-hmm.
is, do you want to deal with that properly? And yeah, your feelings don't matter. If you want her, and that's the feeling that matters, is you want her because you love her, and that's your partner through life because you can count on her, well, then she needs to count on you, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to let your feelings matter over that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've been working on a lot of too, working through all this and, traumas and other things, and obviously stepkids and all of the whole thing, right? You're going through life together and it's messy and you're in the trenches with your partner and you're kind of going through and you're like, well, you picked your partner and now you picked it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to work with them on the level they're at though, and they got to do the same for you though, right? It's both ways.
Were the kids in the house of the first marriage?
Yeah, they were unaware,
Oof.
but then it was aware after. So then, of course, I got a teenage stepkid that's scared of male. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's some skepticisms that I had to work past. And now me and him are best buddies. We hang out 24/7. He rides
How
horses
far do
with
y'all
me.
live from town?
We're about an hour and a half. Like it's
Ooh.
faster. Like let's just put it this way: when the cops came, I could drive from where I worked at the feedlot an hour and a bit. I could get here in about 30 minutes, driving as hard as I could, and I beat the cops.
Mm-hmm.
So like they don't
Yeah.
come out here very good, and they don't know where they're going because there ain't no real descriptions. We're out in the sand hills in Saskatchewan, so there ain't
Yeah.
much out there.
I'm telling you, dude, one of the best things I ever did. My kid, he's got some fear in him, just some natural born,
Yeah,
kind of a timid guy.
yeah.
And man, we started him in jujitsu.
Fear gone.
Game changer, dude. No, I mean it's not gone by any means.
Definitely builds the confidence if I can
Oh,
attack a situation and maybe come out on top, though, right?
oh, it's
That's that
wild.
experience, that little bit of
Hmm.
win. It's like a horse,
Yes.
right? It's the same thing. Oh
Hmm.
man, I won. I got
Yes.
this. It didn't eat me.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't eat you. You're good. You're still living.
Yep. Period.
Like,
I would
still
start,
alive.
dude. Being that far from town, I would probably look up look up stuff on YouTube and freaking be rolling in the living
Oh
room
yeah.
because it's good. I mean, it's amazing to me the difference in this guy, and I
Mm-hmm.
do it too so that he can't whoop me when he's 12.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I stay,
Yeah, stay
try
ahead
to
of him a
stay
little
sharp.
bit. Still
Yes.
got to be better than dad, but I ain't about to let you walk there easy
I
enough.
mean, I'm not kidding. The Master Newsom, the guy who teaches, like he does karate and jujitsu, and the guy who teaches his karate
Yeah.
has a son, an 18-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would go to jujitsu, that's who I rolled with.
Yeah.
And he's a problem. You hear me?
Yeah.
You gotta put it on that kid. I mean, he
He'd
would
come
whoop.
in full.
If we fought for real, like for real, he'd kill me.
Yeah.
I mean, and I bet I weigh 45 pounds more than him, and he would
Yep.
absolutely annihilate me. So
Well, it
I
comes
don't
in
want my
too.
son to be
Pure
like that.
confidence gives clarity.
Hmm.
Confidence gives clarity. So, right, like you might come into a fight, say you guys were fighting, like absolute dog fighting on the street. You'd come in probably a little hot headed. He'd come in probably a little more experienced. Like he's going to come in hot headed. He's
Hmm.
going to come in everything he's got because he's got 45 seconds in his gas tank of good, hard going. And then
Right?
he's going to be
Maybe
winded.
less.
So,
Maybe less.
like, Buddy's probably going to be like, all right, let's do this. I'll just back up for 15 minutes and all of a sudden you're wheezing and I just push you over. Like,
Yeah.
like it's
That
confidence is clarity, and that's also
that would
experience.
totally work for me. That would be, if anybody's out there is ready to beat me up, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
I got about 45 seconds and then I'm roasted, bud.
yeah,
That's funny. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that's funny. That's
And for the
awesome though,
fear with
man.
the kids, like your brain tells you to either get in or get out
Hmm.
naturally. It's the same as a horse, right? Fight or flight. We're the same way. We either get in it and we're like, oh man, we're in it now. We got to either do it and stay, or we're like, nope,
Hmm.
I'm gonna just see you later, guys. Like,
Hmm.
that's kind of your two choices, and you can either buckle down on the wrong one too at the wrong time.
Oh,
Unfortunately, you can
there's no
stand your
question.
ground and be like, oh, this was definitely the wrong time to stand my ground here.
Hmm.
Usually comes with respect and learning respect. Like,
Well, I'll tell you that goes a long way with a horse, and rope and doctor and yearlings in and of itself teaches you how to be just wildly overconfident for your horse, because
mhm.
our philosophy on horses is it's my life in and through the horse.
Yeah,
So if the horse feels me timid and afraid, we're not going.
he's definitely going to be tight. You can't
Exactly.
expect a tight rider to have a loose horse. That's
Yes,
that's uh, that's when you have the bomb-proof gelding out there that's 29 taking the
that's right.
7-year-old around. Like, he's the
Yeah,
guy that's like, I'll build some confidence in you, kid,
that's right.
and not the
But
3-year-old. The 3-year-old's like, I need confidence, and if you're like, I can't give it to you, he's probably not going to give you anything you want but bad times.
he's gonna leave. He's gonna leave. And like if you pile to a yearling on the side of a mountain and you're not confident,
Oh
it's
yeah,
going to be a wreck. It's going to be a
they know.
real bad deal.
Yeah, they know.
So yeah, they if they feel like you don't know what you're doing, it's
Well, and
trouble.
it's a
And
night.
so
It's a difference even watching, me ride the horses around here to watch, the teenage son get on and he rides. The horse collects up differently. He knows who's riding him. He knows who
hmm
knows what's what, and he knows where he can cheat them, right?
yeah,
And they sure will cheat you if they can, because it's easy. And if you let them, they know who will let them cheat. Like, I can lead a horse across a yard full of belly high grass. They ain't gonna go drop their head.
hmm
But them kids can't walk that horse 10 feet.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they know who knows. They
Yes,
know
they
who will
do.
make them work. And it
That's
comes down to
funny,
a
man.
basic of respect. And unfortunately, horses and kids are kind of the same. You can get a lot of
Hmm.
respect out of just even moving their feet.
Yeah.
Basic enough. You don't want to do the right thing, that's fine. We'll go do the wrong thing. And they'll just make it really hard.
Yes. Until we're doing the right thing, then your life
Yeah.
is good again.
Like, see that pile of rocks over there? I'd like it moved 2 inches to the left.
Yes.
Like,
Facts.
and then the next day you do it again. We'll do it another 2 inches.
Hmm.
Like, that's the consequences though, because I feel that's also a thing. Nobody, and a major part of generational flaws, I guess I would say,
Hmm.
is the consequences are kind of slap on the wrist, move on. You know what I mean? Or I don't really want to deal with parenting my kid. I'm going to give him my electronics.
Hmm.
I'm guilty of that one. Like, iPad
Well,
time, buddy. I am exhausted. I am tired. Go play a game. Go. You might not be doing the best thing for yourself for like them, but you're like, oh, you're being lazy, right? You're like, oh man, I should be doing something with
Well,
these
damn, man. I
guys.
mean, sometimes I think, dude, like I grew up playing video games and I like video
Oh,
games.
I
Like
do
they're
too.
fun
I'll
to
play them
play.
with them, but it's like
Yeah.
there's a time and place when you're like, just go away. Just
Yeah. If they're being heard, though, that's different. Like
yeah.
there's levels. There's
Oh
levels
yeah.
to everything. Like if all your kid does is play video games, that's probably not good.
Yeah.
Right. If you create an environment where they never get to play video game, like, come on, man. Like they're fun, you know?
Yeah.
So
You got to be able to have a happy balance.
100%, a hundred
Yep.
percent. And I look at all of that stuff is like things that I get to experience with my kid in a fun
Hmm.
way. You know, if we get to play video games together, it's something I did with my brothers growing up that I thought was
Yeah.
fun or whatever.
Well, I
Um,
remember trying to make my dad do it, so I play with them too. Like, I'll play Call of Duty or play zombies or whatever, right? Like, I'll play these games,
yeah,
and I'm like, sure, we'll try, whatever. Because I remember being that 12-year-old kid, younger, oh man, I want to play this game. I want to talk about this. Sure, I don't understand what you're talking about, but we'll talk about it for hours, buddy. Like,
hmm,
that's because that's what I wanted. I might not have got it because he was busy or didn't have the time or whatever, but I'm like, I can make this difference. I can break little bit of change where I would have benefited from that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just being heard, right? You feel validated. You
Mm-hmm.
feel human, I guess, in a way, where you're
Yeah.
like, even as a little person, you still matter. You can be
Mm-hmm.
heard. And that's a big thing. You can kill that in a kid pretty fast where they just won't come talk to you. They won't come do nothing. They just, nah.
Don't care.
Yeah, easy enough to be shut off.
We've had that conversation multiple times about I got a nephew that, he's played every sport under the sun and wasn't very good. And,
Hmm.
his folks are like, well, you're going to play this or you're going to play that. And really all the kid wants to do is play video games. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, just play video games with him. Like,
Yeah.
quit trying to make the kid be Derek Jeter. Like, who cares? You know what
Well,
I
and
mean? Like,
that's the thing too. You can't make them do anything they don't want to do, and that goes to like any kind of anything, addiction, freaking anything, right? Like, is
mm-hmm,
you quitting beer, anyone quitting anything, right? If a guy's quitting smoking cigarettes, if you're like, oh man, I should quit, but I
mm-hmm.
don't want to,
Yep.
you're not gonna. If my
No.
wife's out there like, you should quit smoking beer or quit smoking cigarettes because you drink too many beers and you smoke too many cigarettes in between the two, and you're like, well, I could just, I'm doing fine anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, until it's your idea and you're like, man, I looked at my bank account. I'm really not doing fine. I'm spending quite a bit of money on this stuff. Maybe this ain't the best. Then you make that change for yourself because
Mm-hmm.
that's your want, right? Like if you don't want to, and this kid don't want to play no sports, he ain't gonna play no sports, and he ain't gonna put in no effort to it. He's got to put
No.
in the want for himself. And if he don't want
Yep.
it, he ain't gonna put in the work for it. Stupid to
Well,
make
and that's
him
the thing
try
about it.
to.
Who cares? What's it matter?
And it's
Like,
an
who
after
cares?
school activity. If he doesn't want to be a pro athlete, he ain't gonna be a pro athlete. You ain't gonna force that
No.
upon someone just
Mm-mm.
by trying to teach a basic of this is dedication. No, you could teach that just by getting them up at every morning at 7. That's
Yeah.
dedication. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this,
Now,
you don't
working
have
out
to.
and sports are two totally different things. I mean,
Working out, I think, is good because you get
yeah.
good, and it does good brain chemicals. Like it releases good stuff. Your brain's doing things, your body's doing things. You're growing, you're exercising, you're healthy. It's
Mm-hmm.
good. It's probably something you could, say, hey, I don't care if you want to play sports, but we should probably go for a walk, go for a bike ride. Let's go do
Yeah.
something.
We're
That's
going to get
fine.
out here and do some push ups, and it's
Yeah,
good for
let's
you
go.
because it's
Let's
nothing
go
wrong with
get
being good at
something.
push ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. The old clap push-ups, throw yourself in the air and do a clap, land, do another push-up. That was my dad taught me that real young, and I always did that trick. And everyone thought I was the coolest kid, and I'm like, dude, all you gotta do is throw yourself in the air really high. Like
Yeah.
it's not
Right.
all that hard. You just throw
Yeah.
yourself in the air.
It's good though. It's tough. Those, I have a hard time.
But you can make the suffering fun, right?
100%. And
So
if you
when
do
you're
it with
sitting
them,
there,
that's
and
what
that's
changes
exactly it,
everything.
group suffering. If you
Mm-hmm.
can do it with
Yes.
them and be like, this sucks, but we're going to suffer together and we're just going to do it. And
Yes.
we're going to be fine at the end of it. And you're going to see, like, I suffered, it sucked, you suffered, it sucked, but here we are. Let's go have an ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes.
like, they're going to be
Max.
like, dude, this ain't so bad to maybe suffer through the things that suck. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I still have to talk to myself every day. Some days I'm like, dude, this really is going to suck. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and then I'll find myself procrastinating. And I'm like, nope, can't do that no more. Like,
Mm-hmm.
time to just get her done. You do.
Well, that's one thing I did with my ball team. We're in the last 2 weeks of the season, but when we started practices, when they did something wrong, we did push-ups,
Hmm.
and the whole team. If anybody did something wrong, the whole team did push-ups together. We count really loud,
Yeah.
and I do the push-ups with them,
Yeah.
and it changes everything for
I
them. You know.
Ryder's basketball coach. I took him after I fed cows at the feedlot. I'd go pick him up from basketball, and I'd go watch the odd games when I got off early enough, and I'd go in and I'd see his coach would try that, but then his coach would burn out, and then all of a sudden they'd quit doing push-ups or they'd quit doing sprints, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
now you're teaching him to quit. Now you're doing bad things. It's like teaching a horse a bad habit. Now you're teaching him, I'm
Yes.
tired, I'm gonna slack off a little bit, and I'm like, oh no. So
No, yeah. I don't ever do more than I can
it's
do,
like
which
you
I can
can,
do quite a few push-ups, so that's not a problem. But they're 5. Like if
yeah.
they were 18, I might
Oh,
not
I was
keep
like, this
up,
is a
but
bunch of high school kids, right? I'm like, man, I could get it being a 40-year-old man trying to out sprint a bunch of 16-year-olds. Like, good luck.
I'm
I
good
ain't
on
doing
that.
it. I ain't doing it.
No,
I
now
ain't got the
that's a little
drive.
different. I might not would I might not would implement that strategy with, like, when I went to basic training, they didn't do push-ups with us.
Yeah,
You
they're
know what
like,
I
we ain't
mean?
about to suffer like that again. No
We were
thanks.
freaking grown people. They're the ones spitting in our face while we were doing the push-ups. So
Yeah,
that's a required thing too. As we move along. Well, that's cool, man.
yeah. Well,
That's pretty admirable with your wife. That's tough, dude. Like, man, that's hard. That's such a hard that trauma deal is a hard road to hoe.
it's and you don't even
Especially
know
with the
things
kids.
you trigger, right? Like you don't even know. You're just walking
Mm-hmm.
around and do something. Like I can have a day where I get upset, right? And I walk in and I close a door too loud, and people are all of a sudden they're triggered, right? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
what did I do? And they're like defensive. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, what's going on? You know? Then you got to actually like sit there and think, do I want to like get mad and be like, dude, I'm allowed to close a door in my house. Like this is wild. Or do I want to be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, these guys have some stuff. They've been through some stuff that's been pretty awful. I'd be a little bit skeptical too if people were all of a sudden getting mad and,
Yeah.
like I'd all of a sudden probably draw back too and be like, maybe I'm gonna just go sit in a different room. Maybe I'm gonna just,
Mm-hmm.
you do you. I'm gonna just walk away to where I feel safe.
Has growing up with your mom being a counselor changed the way you look at this situation? Because my granddad was a counselor,
Oh yeah,
and
it's
it's a useful thing to
insane. The mental health awareness I have is vastly more than like I got anxiety and depression and things like that. And
have. Mm-hmm.
my dad, he's like, I don't understand it. That same, if you can't see it, it ain't there, right? If your leg ain't swinging busted, you ain't got a broken leg, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I don't understand it. But here he is at 65 and he's like, got anxiety real bad. And he's like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand why I can't sleep at night. I have these big jobs coming up and I can't sleep and I'm up all night. And I'm like, that's anxiety, man. And he's like, what? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's anxiety. Your brain's just not shutting off because you need to figure out what you got going on and how to do it. And your brain's trying to figure out your plan because that's what gives you safety. Your safety net is your plan. And if you can't make a plan, you're anxious. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't sleep because you're anxiety ridden. And trying to explain this to a 65-year-old man that doesn't believe in mental health is like talking to a brick wall, obviously.
And he's married to your mom.
It's hilarious. It is two
That
polar
is
opposites.
fantastic.
It is absolutely two polar opposites. It made it pretty, it's funny because she is quite the caring and nice, polite, and, all the stuff. He's polite too, but, definitely can be abrasive.
Yeah, pretty good grandparents though.
Oh yeah, they're great. They help take care of my kids since I'm not around when they do whatever there, and then the other kids are like I got sisters and they got kids and they hang out with all them too. They're pretty good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they do a lot
That's
with them.
nice to have, dude. Grandparents are underrated.
It's
They're nice.
huge, huge.
Damn, it is nice.
I would have definitely failed without their help for as long as I needed it. I definitely probably needed it a little longer trying to catch up and learn some things, but they kind of just stuck with me, you know.
Mm-hmm. They like your new wife.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They figure she's the best thing that's happened for me. Probably not wrong. Growth the guy's figured out and, risks a guy's taken, work,
Mm-hmm.
going back doing things a guy wants to do instead of just like suffering through. Like I got here, I was just welding again, had a hand injury, had tendonitis, had to get steroid shots in my right hand. And I was like, oh, didn't really enjoy that too much. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I don't really know if I can stay welding again if, my hand's going to lock up because I had my middle finger and my pinky were locked close to my palm for, shoot, like 3 months, like
Mm-hmm.
locked. And yeah, so I was like, well, I don't know what else to do.
That's
And
kind of make it hard to rope. Are you right-handed?
yeah, well, I got it back now.
Yeah.
The steroids and stuff, but yeah, they shoved needles right in there and right
Mm-hmm.
in there, and then they sit there and they bend your finger while they got that needle in your tendon. Oh, that'll make you want to
Oh
hit a
yeah,
grown
baby.
man. The wife's sitting there, and you're just sitting there biting your lip, and she's like, "He might hit you," and it's like, "I might hit you," and he's like, "Just
Yeah.
it's only 30 more seconds," and I'm like, "You might be hitting 30 seconds because this hurts real bad." He's like, "We got
Yeah.
one more finger," and I'm like, "Oh, this is
God
one of
dang.
those you just got to suffer to get through it moments," and it's like that you got to suffer or you're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna. And he was kind of, he did my better finger first too, so I couldn't even cheat and be like, I'll make it work. No,
Yeah.
he left the worst one for last because he knew people would cater out and be like, no, I can't do it, man, it hurts too much. And I was like, no,
Huh.
just stab me again. Just sat on my hand and grinned and bared. And now, took a few months of working, and I spent the winter feeding cows and stuff, doing easier odds and ends. And, I've been roping lots, riding lots, doing all that. And it seems to be holding up real great. So
Mm-hmm.
seems to be doing pretty good. So I was like, heck yeah. And then the wife was like, you could take the risk and, go apply for the job you want, like actually want. You could actually try.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but then that's something I don't know how to do. I'm scared. Like I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
to do that. I'm not prepared. It's the fear of the unknown, and all of a sudden your confidence is like, ooh, I don't know. You're supposed to be the guy that can provide and do all the things, and it's like, well, I can't do the things. I can do some of the things. Like, I can ride the horse, but I can
Mm-hmm.
ride and rope, and I did some team roping and stuff. So done the odd things, but it's way different out there doctoring and just the handling of cattle and how they do it, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
way different than.
The guy you got hired on with, is he green?
No, he's roped lots. He's taught a lot of guys. He was looking for more of a mentor kind of guy, to mentor
Mm-hmm.
more, I should say. So
You know him?
I've met him a bit and then chatted with him, been out and met him a few times here, and he's kind of told me, he's like, I need you to work on these shots, because he's like, I'm pretty much just going to neck things, slow them down, and we'll just get you to heal them up. And once
Mm-hmm.
you get a little farther in the season, we'll swap out and you start heading some things, start getting some speed, start
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how, start picking up other people's slack, start figuring out the team aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, no, he's kind of really working to work with a guy. And he's like, as long as you got your basic riding down and, you can swing the rope, you can catch off a horse on a dummy. He's like, obviously, you know, we're going to have some learning. It's
Oh yeah.
There's going to be some learning, and
Sacrificial animals.
I was going to say it's admirable of him, to be honest. He's like, and I even thought about it too with the pay. I'm like, it might not be the best pay, but man, the guy's taking a pay cut just hiring someone that's less educated.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's already, he's making himself shorthanded in a way,
Yeah.
and he's like, I
Well,
could
I'll tell
do
you
it.
this. It's pretty easy to write on a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah,
And it's pretty rare to find a guy who's willing to say, uh, I don't know how to do this stuff. Because most guys who understand, and I can read this from talking with you for the last hour,
yeah,
that you probably got a little something going on with your horses,
yeah,
just by the way you talk about them.
yeah,
And most guys that might have something going on with their horse would presume that they are good at roping when they are not.
yeah. It's a totally
It,
different skill once you're going
it
both. You can do one thing
totally different skill.
consciously and be working on things, and I'm not the best like complicated rider. I ain't Buck Brannaman. I ain't out there, doing fancy turnarounds and all this. I don't know all of the collection things. I don't,
Hmm.
but I can make them safe.
Yeah.
I can get them dead safe. I
Well,
can.
the fact of the matter is here, and I'll just be completely honest with you, is that when you get out there and you start, you're gonna freaking love it.
Yeah,
And I don't mean a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, it's going to be the greatest job you've ever had, and you're going to be like, I could do this forever.
yeah,
And all of that, all of that fear, all of that worry about being able to do it and having the skill set, that's all OJT.
hmm,
I've taken 14, 15, and 16-year-old girls into the desert and doctored 9-weight yearlings,
yeah,
and they come out hardened criminals. I'm talking about absolute savages when it
yeah,
comes to rope and stuff, because it's what it does to you. And all they
yeah,
could do was throw a heel shot. They
yeah,
were the best help ever, because all they just listened,
yeah.
and they'd be there when you asked them to be there, and they were willing to learn.
Well,
And
and
I'd take
that's
them over most grown men.
and that was exactly it. Even with my job, at the feedlot, I can't say I had the most cattle experience. Doctoring
Hmm.
cattle and stuff. I didn't know how they presented. I didn't know that stuff. I didn't. I didn't. I pushed cattle through a feed yard or auction yard. I knew how they moved. If you pushed on, if I got on your left hip, you're going to move to the right, or your
Hmm.
shoulder. I kind of know how you drive them. But mixing rations, feeding out. all that kind of stuff. I had none of that idea, and I just messaged this dude on Facebook because I was like, my hand's toast. I have no money, and them it's getting dang cold out, and animals are going to be needing some feed here. Like, we got to be getting moving. And he was like, well, what do you know? And I'm like, honestly, I know nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. I was like, but I'll work harder than anyone you ever met. Like, I just don't care. Just tell me what to do, and I'll just work at it. Like, there ain't a clock in, clock out time. Just tell me, and I'm there. And I think I was pretty slow feeding cows, mixing rations for the first month. He kind of just, turned the guy loose. If you feed the cows, by the end of the day, you're good. Figure it out. As long as you're not breaking anything, wrecking mixers, and you're doing all your loading right and stuff. So by the end of it, I could feed the feedlot out by, 10:30, 11 in the morning and go check pens and all the stuff, right? So it's giving a guy that chance. But I remember even telling him, like, hey, I don't know. I'm nervous. And he's like, what are you nervous about? Like, it's feeding cows. Like, why are you overcomplicating it? Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing, even kind of doctrine, right? It's like, you're overcomplicating it. They're presenting pretty clearly what's wrong with them. They're pretty easy to see when they're like, oh man, I ain't feeling well. It's pretty easy to tell. Like, you don't got to be a rocket scientist or a vet to be like, man, he ain't doing so good. And, he's got hoof rot. He's got a swelled up leg, he's got bad joints, maybe. I don't know. But, if he's bloated up, it's pretty easy to tell these things. But until you see it and experience it the first time, you're like, oh man, I'm terrified of this.
Yes. What if I'm missing them?
Exactly. And the
Yes.
first weekend, he's like, okay, it's your weekend. Like, no one else is there. Just me. I come in by myself, feed cows, check cows, do everything, walk up, leave. Just me. Whole feed lot. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And this guy's like, you can do it. Like, just that confidence in you enough to be like, I know you know what you're doing. You just don't have the confidence in yourself yet, but you can do it.
Yeah.
Like, I know you know the damn job. Just go do it. Like, you're fine. And enough of that time was like pretty awesome. And he's the guy that I was like, hey, I need a job reference. And he's like, you bet. And he's the one who's the guy that got me the job I got now.
Man, that's awesome. Will you still work the feedlot in the winter?
I'll try to, yeah. That's what I'm going to try to, because it's fun. I like it. It's a good experience, too. Worked out all right, because I drove the kid to school on the way to the feedlot anyways.
Yeah.
Worked out.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. You learn more at a yearling deal or a feedlot or something like that than a cow-calf guy does in 10 years. 1 year in a feedlot,
you got so many
cattle.
many sick cattle. And then intake, right? You got like 1,000 head coming through every day, and you're like moving, sorting heifers, steers, bigs, medium, smalls. You got all sorts, right? And then you got
it's awesome.
It's great.
It's the best.
It's awesome. I loved it. I was like, oh man, it's already 8 o'clock at night. Like, I worked today. I didn't even feel like I worked. Then you get home and you're tired. And you're like, man, I worked.
Yep. I totally understand, man. I freaking love that job.
It is the best.
I agree.
I don't know. It teaches you a lot
awesome,
too.
Man.
It teaches you a lot about yourself. Like, you make, because if you want to slack, you can slack because no one's holding you accountable. But if them cattle are counting on you. So if you're going to slack, you're going to let them down. And that's their quality of life.
And they die. Exactly.
And it don't take much to kill them things. You might think they're a cow, they're all that tough. No, they die pretty easy. Like, it don't take much. They die on purpose.
Yes.
They're
trying to.
I chewed that wrong. I'm going to die. Like,
yes.
There's not enough water.
Yeah, we always say a yearling deal will teach you to never cut a corner. Because if you go to cutting corners, they're going to show you every corner you cut.
Oh, they do.
It is a bad wreck when you do. My old Dean Partman used to tell my dad before they go gather, he'd be like, slip out there and make sure a rabbit can't get through that barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
And he was dead serious.
Yeah.
He was dead serious. Oh, man, that is freaking hilarious. That's good stuff, man. Well, dude, I sure do appreciate you calling and reaching out, man. This has been fun visiting with you.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't go, but I got to go pick my kid up from school.
It's all good.
It's the worst.
I know. I had to do the school pickup too. It's bus line stuff. No, thank you.
It's garbage, dude. It's my least favorite part about the whole thing.
It's the worst.
Just let me homeschool him. I mean,
Yeah,
he doesn't need to know this stuff. He just needs to know how
yeah.
to tie ropes, and we'll be fine. You
Yeah,
know,
tie ropes, learn
I
how to ride a
swear.
horse in the end. You'll be
Yeah.
good.
Who cares? He can read already. It's
Yeah,
fine. He's 6. He's a grown
exactly.
man. He just needs to go to work. Good
There you
grief.
go. Get the
My
work
wife
ethic in.
doesn't need to hear this. I might edit that part out.
Oh
Oh
boy.
man. Well, Riley, man, I appreciate it. I hope the best for you, buddy, you and
You
your wife
betcha.
and all your youngins you got running around. Again, if you need anything, just reach out.
You betcha.
I'll have the messenger pulled up.
Oh yeah.
Anybody listening, Dalton at 310edu.com is my email address. Please reach out. You can reach me on Facebook Messenger. Riley's on Facebook. I don't know what other socials you got, but
I
are
just
you going to
got.
post any video, anything this summer?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna try to do some YouTube stuff or something. Try to set up kind of like if anyone's trying to learn and see it's okay to suck and get into cowboying, and you can actually turn into maybe a hand by the end of a summer. I'm kind of trying to see how I can turn that into a series of, fingers to a hand.
Yes. Hey, that's a good name. You should name it that. That's a good idea. I would watch that. I swear to you, I would watch that.
Yeah,
It's awesome, man. Well, let me know when you do get it started. Let me know. We'll have you back on. We'll talk about the YouTube and
sounds good.
you guys look him up. I'll link his Facebook.
Yeah,
I'll link his Facebook in the description. You can follow that and be able to find the
yeah,
YouTube there.
you
As
betcha.
always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.